Poštovani gledalci Sport kluba, javljamo se iz Wuhana i ja danas imam jednog specijalnog gosta. Moj današnji gost je Mariano Garcia iz Argentine, ali mi ovaj razgovor možemo da vodimo i na srpskom.
Da, i mislim, mogu govorimo srpskom.
Ovaj razgovor je poseban iz nekoliko razloga. Mi smo se čuli pre odlaska na prvenstvo, kada smo se obojice priključili ovoj grupi za novinare. Ti si mi se javio i od starta si mi rekao da jedva čekaš drugu fazu i jedva čekaš da dođeš da gledaš Srbiju, jer posao svih nas ovde je takav da mi realno ne možemo da gledamo druge utakmice osim one na kojima možemo da ispratimo rezultate, ali to je to. Kada si počeo da voliš Srbiju i Jugoslaviju i zašto?
Prvi put, mislim, bilo u sveti šampionat.
Svetski šampionat?
U Argentinu.
You can switch to English.
In 1990.
Okay.
That was the great Yugoslavian team that won the tournament in Argentina, and that it was like love at first sight, And since then I became more interested in Yugoslavia, Balkans, Serbia, and sports, and later when I had a chance to travel, became more close to the culture, the music, the people, and travel after travel, I just became like a friend of all these area of the world, and that's how it ended.
You have a serious photographer career behind you. You've done some amazing championships and Olympic Games and everything. When did you decide that that's something you want to do?
It came naturally. You start doing one thing after the other. You start with small challenges professionally, start in your country, then start to planning to do some trips and travel and try to open to international coverage. And I don't know, it started first in Argentina, Davis Cup in tennis, some basketball tournaments, America's Cup qualifiers, and then I started with the World Championship in Spain. That was like it's like the second love with Serbia basketball, because also that team in 2014 was awesome. So then I decided to move on. I went in 2016 to Belgrade to the qualifiers to see, and that was the first time I saw Jokic, for example, and then I tried to mix and follow the international game. But every time Serbia is around, I try to go to see Serbian games. I have a lot of photos published in Serbian media, Serbia Danas, and other websites that are buying my photos. So it's like a circle, because I travel to Serbia, I take photos from Serbia and Serbian players, so the media start buying those photos I'm taking in Serbia. It's like becoming, each year is closer and closer, the bond.
You also like the culture. You took some time in your home Argentina to learn the language, because even though there is no great population of Serbs over there, there is very big Croatian population, and the language is basically the same. So you were one of the probably weird guys who were there and didn't have, a Croatian girlfriend or some relatives or stuff, and wanted to learn the language. What was the experience?
Well, it was very fun, because it's not like the other major languages you can learn, like English, like French or German, that there's people understand. And always is, why are you studying this? In the course, and the rest of your friends is, why you studying Croatian? What for? It's not useful. And that's the beauty of it. It's doing something because you like it, not because of business, not because of work, really. It's just because you feel like close to some culture, to some work, and you became like a part of it without being, really. And And in each course has one or two of us. It's like most of the language courses are oriented to like the people who have family, to keep the language alive.
Yes.
And from time to time, one of the rest of us that maybe like languages, maybe like to travel, like culture, just one or two of the other people that doesn't have any family is now. We are not doing it for the passport, we are not doing it for the nationality, because now to get the Croatian citizenship, you need to pass the test. So most of the people are going to just to pass the test. I will not have a Croatian or Serbian passport. I don't have any family, so it's another interest, and it's funnier because it's not because you're taking profit of it. It's just because you really like it.
It's always funny when you find some guy from, other part of the world who tells you da si brate ili nešto slično. You said you worked Belgrade for the qualifiers, but that's not your only experience. You've been to our region a lot.
Yeah.
You visited some of the music festivals and other things, and what were the expectations and what was the reality of the whole thing?
I think the reality always is exceed the expectations, because it's like the more you speak the language, it's like you can relate better, even when it's not a full conversation. But if you just go to a store or just find somebody, just say the basic, like dobar dan, kako si, oh, they start like they switch. You're not a tourist, because coming.
You are one of us.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're from South America. If you speak only English, they treat you like
Argentinian brother. You are our Argentinian brother now.
It happens like in the OK Fest in Tientište. And like I was taking photos, and people start talking to me, like because they thought I was Serbian or some
local.
Or local, yeah. And I say, ja ne govorim srpski. Odakle si ti? Ja sam iz Argentine. And then just start on the day after, I just go to the same festival, same people. I start people screaming from the rest, brate iz Argentine. Of course, drunk kids from rock festivals, very friendly people, and it's like this all the time, even in a store or in a festival or in venues, or now in sports, like we're eating, and it changes the way you relate with somebody just with the basics. I mean, it's not like a test. They don't expect you to speak. Also, it's fun because, let's take if there's American journalists. Oh yeah, you speak English, big deal, Or the Italian. I was recently speaking with the Italian. It's okay. I'm an Argentinian and I speak Italian. It's nothing out of this world. It's expected. But if you meet some Serbian and say, "Hey, dobar tek," well, what is that? And they start talking different, and it's like they adopt you, like a long distance relatives.
So, how do you like the way our team is now playing?
Well, it's like this is the first game I saw recently against Puerto Rico. Huge victory, very easy victory. I didn't have the chance to see the other game because I was working with the Argentinian zone and taking photos from Argentina, and didn't have the chance to see Serbia. But as long as this game, to me, is the favorite to be in the finals, obviously. And I think they have a chance to win it all, because...
when we talked before, you said that our nations were similar in many ways, but one of them is the fact that as long as USA is not winning the title, we are happy about it. So I have to ask you, because that has been a big topic in Serbia for the past decades, and in many situations we received some information that in Argentina things are seen differently than in Serbia. Indianapolis, 2002 final, it was a foul. we know it was a foul.
Yep.
But are you guys really mad about it?
Like fans, they do. Fans, they still do. Also, a lot of people just look at me like, oh, why you're so friendly with Serbia? Do you remember that foul on Skonocini? And I say, why do you like to go there and talk to these people? I mean, it's sports. We have our revenge in 2004. So I think because this crazy shot of Manu on 2004, we can call it even, with no hard feelings. You have your time, we have ours, and it was a foul. But it's in sports, you have to know it. The weaker team, the new team, the younger team doesn't get the calls as the veterans. Serbia is a powerhouse on FIBA and European basketball. There was Bodiroga, Divac, this big names from international basketball against, and that time kids with still not much recognition.
Really amazing kids.
Of course, but they didn't know in that time that they will not get in the calls. That's the price of being that young in 2002. But if you see for all of them, it was it's like a stage. It's a step. You have to go through this to learn, and then 2 years later we have our time, and I will not change it. If you give me that World Championship in Indianapolis, but not the Olympic gold in Athens. No, let's give me
Let's just keep the gold.
Give me the silver in Indianapolis, the gold in Athens, and it fits perfect. You can win everything all the time. It was like the growing pains of that team. We have to go through some failure. Maybe if we won in Indianapolis, they thought that everything would be easier, and maybe the team is not going to be that strong in 2 years.
Hungry. And that hungry for the goal.
I think it fuels that, and every great sports team has to go through some kind of failure first. You not win all the time. We are not United States. It's not supposed to win every time we went to a final. We are not the favorites by that time. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay because it's like it's a little slap to wake up and say, okay, but that time things like. So it seems to be easy for the Argentina. We beat the United States. It was like a slap on reality. It's not going to be that easy all the time. You have bad calls. You have to go against bigger powers and bigger teams, and the refs also can. So for a team like Argentina, it's better to do things that not depending on the refs, like win the things.
Yeah, you can't. There are no bad calls when you make the shot.
Of course, and like it's supposed. Sorry for that. For the reference, the shot with Ginobili on 2004. What can the refs do about it? Nothing. It's like we are not depending on the refs. It's just one shot. You can call foul, no foul. The clock. It's if the ball goes in, that's it. And that's how I would say. Maybe it's an experience. It's almost never a team in that clutch time. Nobody wants a game with a layup. You can see game winners on layups or dunks. You have to shoot the ball from mid-range for 3 because referees can do anything about a ball going through the net. I mean, and that's
if it's on time.
If it's on time, but it's easy to. It's less controversial than a foul. A foul, it's a. So to me, Skonocini should have stepped back, make a shot, it's in, it's out, and we live with that.
Okay, last question. Your national team is doing very well on this championship as well. They have 3 victories. In the first game today, Poland beat Russia, so that's maybe unexpected. But you've been doing very well, and there is a guy in this team who was also a member of that team 17 years ago, and he's been playing really well.
Yeah.
What are your expectations for Argentina this time?
So far, the expectations are. I wasn't coming with high expectations because our best player is 38, 39 years old. It's still the go-to guy, and it seems like we can develop anyone like to take the torch and pass it away, like Serbia is doing. Like Serbia, you just refresh
and switch.
Yeah, and Jokic was the previous tournament was not even here, not Boban, not Jokic. That tournament was all about Milos and maybe Bogdan and Bjelica, and now you have Jokic as like the biggest figure, and each 4 or 5 years there is a new guy. For us, our guy is the same as 15 years ago. But of course, it's a once in a. It's the guy. It's like Vlade. So it's okay. And the younger guys are just making like a step forward, and they're playing above their levels in their own clubs, and also it's a team thing. I mean, maybe for you, players like Brusino, Garino, or Delia have a great game. Delia against Russia. Garino had a great game against Russia, and maybe for the international audiences, they are not big names, but we just develop like this chemistry that no matter which is the player, there's a way of playing that is keeping passing. We are not focused on the names of big players. We have nobody in the NBA right now, but the system and the chemistry in this case is above the names. We have Campazzo, really important player in the EuroLeague and Real Madrid, but also you have all the role players are just putting on his effort and making his contribution to the team. And to me, it tops the expectation. I was expecting maybe less, but we have to see it against really strong teams. I mean, so far Russia is the strongest team, and you see they lost against Poland. We didn't find it, and now it's going to be kind of easy because we are not going against Australia, we are not going against Lithuania, Serbia, Greece, United States, France. I mean, 6 of those teams I mentioned, we're just avoiding that. So it's kind of friendly for us, and it's good to gain confidence and thinking forward maybe to quarterfinals. And I think
in quarterfinals anything can happen.
Yeah, I think that the measure of the team will be quarterfinals, because so far it's going to be not easy but friendly. And we have to see it against maybe one of the 6 or top teams of this tournament, and there is going to be difficult, but as the team is gaining confidence, and winning is always good, and is so let's hope we don't cross in quarterfinals, because that means you are first in your group and we are first in our group. So maybe it's going to be semifinals for Argentina and Serbia.
Hvala, prijatelju.
Molim. Well, now everything